So, I wanted to come on and thought maybe we'd get the sunset in the background, but it's, well, that's quite special. It's got a beautiful orange glow. It's not picking it up on the camera. It was a question of the difference between, I'm being a little bit distracted by this. Camera's on that side. The difference between conscious creativity and unconscious creativity. And my goodness, that is a beautiful sunset. Let's see if I can capture it. It's probably just not doing it justice, you know. That's the thing. The difference between conscious creativity and unconscious creativity. So at the moment I'm consciously trying to capture this. Now how could I be creative? I could think about framing with the 2/3 principle by putting the horizon there or there. Or I could just balance it in the middle. I can't zoom in anymore. I could do a pan, bearing in mind that I'm just using a phone. I could do a sweep down onto the horizon. I'd like a tripod right now for this. Or push up into the blue sky. Or down. All the way to my feet. There's lots of different ways, you know, consciously creating is to think about the thing that you're creating and to consciously make a decision. It doesn't mean that you can't experiment and play. While you're doing it, you can. That's a nice glow. It's the thing with the eyes, the difference between the eyes and the camera, is that my eyes can focus on that glow, and while my perception will concentrate on that and pick out the details of the light glinting off the top of the clouds as well from behind. I can filter out all the bits that are aesthetically less pleasing, or those things that appear to be most awe-inspiring, and disregard the rest. But the camera doesn't. You kind of have to, the frame is different. The camera's frame is different to the eye, and that's something that people often overlook. But this idea of conscious creativity is those things are consciously processed. They're conscious decisions. Unconscious creativity, the other end of the spectrum, and this is not an opposition, it's a spectrum. It's not a polarity. They might be, you might consider them as polar opposites, but it's that similar thing. Often they're on a point on a circle or on a horseshoe, where at either ends they kind of come back to almost touch each other. Maybe not, less so with conscious and unconscious creativity, but it's still, you know, they're part of the spectrum. The unconscious creativity is the moment at which you feel inspired to take the shot of the sunset in the first place. It's like, what does it rises up. It's an intuitive process. A moment where you just feel inspiration and act on it. So I come back here now, because there's a nice frame of this field behind me. It's got a nice curve. Angles kind of work well. I could position it so I've got 2/3 rule there. I could put my head in the shot to make it a bit more aesthetic. I think I need to get myself a selfie stick. I could be sold on that. So those are the conscious processes in creativity, and the unconscious process is when it flows. And conscious creativity often has to balance out the flow of unconscious creativity. It's the thing that edits. It can be the thing that edits. Sometimes the unconscious creativity, it can almost be like a dialectic between consciousness and the unconscious, where the conscious asks, what next? And the unconscious just produces an answer. It comes into consciousness. So it's not really unconscious creativity at all in that regard. It's arising out of the unconscious into consciousness, and the point at which it emerges is the moment of inspiration, is the moment of an insight or intuition, and then you act on it. It's quite remarkable process. There's a lot more to this. I have a book I've been writing on and off. I've released it a couple of times actually, but I'm reworking it again because I want it to be better. At the moment it's called The Path. It's ways to live, 12 ways to live a more creative life, or 12 rules to live a more creative life. It's not really rules, it's guidance. Rules are for fools and the guidance of the wise. So my mentor Cindy Daya used to tell me. It was one of her guiding principles. And I try to adhere to that at every turn, because it really is a case of, well, is this rule a wise rule? You know, at what point do I use my own intellect and my own reason to supplant it? So question. Doesn't mean that you flout every rule, such as the unconscious conscious creativity rule, which there isn't one. So I wanted to share that today. That was in response to Ignis Orbis, who mentioned that they would like to know more about conscious and unconscious creativity as a topic. And in order to inspire unconscious creativity, how I have witnessed it working in me and some of my clients is that you put the input in, you do the research, you fill yourself up, you fill the cup with information, with the things that interest you, that you're passionate about, that you're curious about. You program in what it is that you want by having a desire for it. And this is life in many ways. So you have to be careful of your thoughts, you have to be careful of your desires, of your predictions, of your assumptions, of your predilections, of your behaviors, because it all feeds in. So having a good conduct, having a good attitude, a right attitude is a difficult term, right, but what feels right, I think, is a better way, rather than considering a broader moral frame. Feed all these things in and allow the unconscious to speak back to you at its own pace and in its own language. This is what I'm saying before about potential, that we all have potential. This is part of it. This is part of that living creative, the creative potential in all of us. It emerges out of that. It's like the breaking wave at the front. You know, it's the crest of the wave that's breaking. And that can be conscious. It's what comes into consciousness. So it's being aware of what the unconscious might be showing you or telling you. So it's being aware of yourself. And that is about being in relationship. And we'll come to that again if I haven't already. I've kind of lost track of what I've spoken about on here and to clients. So remind me if I've forgotten that. But it is about relating. And you can see that on the Live Creative, clivecreative.com site. It's relating, adapting, creating, because your relationship with yourself, with other people in the world, is the thing that formulates, and to your unconscious, to the mystery, and so the things that you can perceive and the things that you can't perceive, because you have to be aware of the unexpected and the unknown as well, and allow a space for those to occur, because they do, and because, you know, we are perceptive of a tiny fragment. And there, I'm just going to turn this over. I don't know if you can see that. It's the moon. Beautiful. The moon catching the last rays of the sun as it starts to wax in its journey towards fullness. Beautiful. Beautiful. I hope you're all well, and I just want to thank all those people who've made comments and who continue to support the project and to continue to contribute to the project. And I'm grateful for anyone who I can serve in this way, however slight it might be. I thank you all very much, and I look forward to engaging with you another time. And again, you know where to find me. Like the video if you like it, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that fancy stuff as you will, as you wish, and take care. And I'll speak to you again soon, tomorrow.